Hi boys and girls. We're now looking at our second task in our money activity, and we're going to look at calculating the cost of some items. Now today, as you know, is pancake day, so I've been out and I've done a little bit of shopping and bought some ingredients that I will need to make some lovely pancakes. So I have over in the far corner here, I've got some flour which cost me £1.50. Next to my flour I have some honey which cost me £1. See the £1 here. Next to the honey we have some eggs which cost me £1.20. And finally, to make it nice and tasty and chocolatey, I have got some Nutella that cost me £1.15. Now the first thing I want to identify is which item was my cheapest item, which cost me the least amount of money. Now looking at all four of these items, all of them have got £1, so they all cost £1 or more. And then I'm going to look at my pennies. My Nutella has got 15 pennies. My eggs have got 20 pennies. My honey has got 0 pennies, and my flour has got 50 pennies. So in looking at that, I can see that my cheapest item was honey, which cost me £1. So that was the one that cost me the least amount of money. Looking at the items that I've got left, I've got flour, which was £1.50, my eggs, which were £1.20, and my Nutella, which was £1.15. And again, looking at my pennies, because they would all cost me £1 or over. My Nutella was 15 pennies, my eggs were 20 pennies, and my flour was 50 pennies. And 50 being the highest number, that shows me that my flour was the most expensive item at £1.50. If you can see that, £1.50. So I now know what's the least and what's the most expensive. I'm now going to look at how I can calculate if I'm buying more than one item. So I'm going to look at buying some eggs, which I'll put these ones back here. I'm going to buy some eggs, which cost me £1.20. And I'm going to buy some flour, which cost me £1.50. And I want to know how much that will cost me altogether. So I'm going to split my total, my numbers, into pounds and pennies. So my flour has got £1 and it's got 50 pence. And my eggs have got £1 and 20 pence. And I'm going to add those together. So I've got £2, two £1 gives me £2. I've got 50 pence and 20 pence, which give me 70 pence. So in total, if I had bought my eggs and my flour, it would have cost me £2.70. That was me adding up my pounds first and then adding up my pennies. Now what if I wanted to buy all of the items? So I'm going to do the same activity, just rub this one out, and I'm going to look at the price of all of my items. And I'm going to separate them in the same way as I did in my last task. I am going to partition my numbers. So I have got £1 and 20. I've got £1 and 50. I've got £1 and 15, and I've got £1 in total. And I'm going to add these up together. So I've got how many pounds? 1, 2, 3. I've got £4. And how many pennies? I put my decimal point here to separate my pounds and my pennies. I've got 20 pennies. Add on 50. I can do that the other way, make it a bit easier. 50 add on 20 is 60. That's 70. Add on 15, I'm going to add on my 10 first, which is 80, and add on my 5 is 85. So the total amount for me to buy my messages was £4.85, and I managed to add that up by partitioning my numbers and counting up my pounds first and then my pennies. Now the last task I'm going to look at is to work out my change. Now, not all of you have to calculate this, but if this is something you would like to have a wee go at, I find it quite easy to use a number line to help me. I think that is a good tool to use. So my goods cost me £4.85 and I have paid £5 and I want to know how much change I'm going to get. So I'm going to draw my number line. You can see that. I'm going to draw my number line and I'm going to start off with my £4.85 and I want to get to £5. So I'm going to get to a friendly number, so I'm going to add on my 5p, which will give me £4.90. I'm going to add on 10p, which will give me £5. So I have 15p back. Can you see that? I'll just move that line across there a wee bit. Now another way that we could have done that, if we're more comfortable taking it away, we could draw our line and our £5 that we've paid, and messages cost us £4.85, so I'm going to take away my £4, which would leave me with £1. I'm going to take away my 80p, which would leave me with 20p, and I'm going to take away my 5p, which would leave me with 15, and that would be my change from my £5 and taking away my £4.85. I would get 15p change, and I've looked at that in two different ways. Now you have got an activity to do. It's on our on the